Yeah, for sure. How long did you race in Indy cars for?
About 6 years. So I started in 1999, raced the full seasons all the way through 2003. So that's 4 seasons, and then 2003 and 2004 I raced at Indy only, which was nice. I mean, but it was kind of like you're showing up to the Super Bowl without getting the benefit of practice of the regular season games. So that was tough. I mean, it was in 2003 was actually not that tough because I drove with Panther. I got in a car on bump day. It was perfect basically because I had Sam Hornish and Billy Boat had tested those cars all month, and I think I did 4 laps when qualified. I was the farthest back Panther car, but I was faster than Billy, and I think nearly as fast as Sam in terms of qualifying speed. If I recall right, I don't want to. I think that was the case. We had we done that speed on day one, we would have been in the top 10 or 15 or something like that. So it was easy. And I remember the first thing I recall about the driving a Panther car is you're out there in practice doing two. I don't remember what it was, 215, 216, or no, I take it back, 220, 221, and then magically the car in qualifying, was 224. It's like, wow. So, they really had their stuff dialed in there, and, it was easy. Unfortunately, that year in the race in turn three of the first lap, my tire got together, my front tire got together with, AJ the fourth's tire, and it basically broke the upright. So the race didn't last very long, but it was fun to get to spend the time with the Panther team and in the Panther car. And then the last one was kind of what got sent me out. That was with a last minute ride with PDM, which I really obviously appreciated the getting involved, and it's cool to have Burger King on the car at the last minute, a very well known sponsor. Just because at the time we weren't very sponsored, but the downside of that is it was a lease on Robby Gordon's backup car, and apparently it was going to come to our garage, fully set up the way he just ran his qualifying. And I remember showing up to the garage and it didn't have any suspension on it or anything, and it's like, oh boy, we might have our hands full. So, which we did. It's fine. We made the race, and then we got into. The rate. It was just the car was, the car just didn't handle how it needed to. So it wasn't real fun to drive. It's not real fun to drive cars that are not, that just aren't handling. Even when they don't handle when you're going slow, and it's even worse. I've always said it's easy to drive fast cars fast than it is slow cars slow, because it's just not fun and it feels like a lot of work. So, but we finished, got the car, finished the race, and that was that was the last one for me.
That's awesome. Who's your biggest racing hero?
So I actually, when I was in third grade, wrote a document, and we still have it. They had it, reprinted and framed and stuff. That I think it started by saying, when I grow up, I want to be an Indianapolis racer. And this was in the I don't know if they even still have anymore, but back when we went to school, we had the paper that was designed to learn to write cursive. So it's got the dashes in the middle. And so I want to be an Indianapolis racer. I want to be number 15. I want to drive a black car. My favorite drivers are AJ Foyt and Johnny Rutherford. And with that, and there was a little more to it, but absolutely my heroes growing up in the sport were AJ Foyt and Johnny Rutherford. And they I got to work with both of them. Lone Star JR was one of the driver coaches when I was getting into the sport, and AJ Foyt was always a competitor, and I believe I tested with him, if I recall, one time down in Texas. So, and I talked, throughout my career, I always talked with AJ. Maybe we're going to get a chance to drive together, but I don't think it ever happened. But it was always fun to be part of that. I raced against his son Larry in Formula 2000 for 3 or 4 years, so I got to know AJ pretty well.
That's incredible. How did it feel when you stood in front of him for the first time, knowing he was your hero?
It was amazing. I mean, it's cool, and I at the time I was kind of part of it, so I wish I maybe took it in a little bit more. But I was just, it became pretty normal. I was around him all the time, and it was, it's like, hey, Jay, hey, Robby, sort of thing. And, and it's pretty cool. And then, Roger Penske, of course, came in, mid career. And, that was super cool because I've watched the Marlboro cars at Indy from, as far back as I can remember, and Rick Mears and, his that whole thing, and then same thing with Roger Penske and having those drivers. It was it was part of it was normalcy because it's what I was doing, but the other part was like this is way cool that I'm racing against or learning from these folks that were so successful in racing, and now I'm kind of back to that. I mean, my last race was in 2004. That that's 19 years ago, and I still go when I can. Missed this year because of kids baseball, but I still go up to Indy for the Legends Row or the Legends thing or whatever, where it's the autograph session, and I get to see all those folks. And I with a lot of those people that I came up with as heroes. Another one which I didn't mention was Bobby Unser, and I sat next to him at an autograph signing, and it was just so cool. And then he passed away, which was awful, very sad. And I put Al Unser in that group as well. I mean, all those folks I remember just watching. Well, and then Pancho Carter. I mean, after I finished driving, I spotted for Panther, and I spotted the. I think I might have actually spotted Dan Weldon's car and the blue Menards car when it was with Panther, and Pancho Carter was spotting for Hornish. So. And again, those are household names that I would see, when we'd be watching Indy 500 back as far as when I was, 8 years old. So
Yeah.
a lot of them out there, and I'm really blessed to have gotten to interact with them, and will continue to go see them at Indy. And the folks that I, just good friends of mine that I made while I was running, seeing them as well is pretty great.